Okay. What I have here is a Good Ranchers box that I ordered yesterday and it arrived today. Before I start anything, I want to give a full disclosure that I am not sponsored by Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers is not paying me at all to do this review. Technically, I am paying to do the review for them because I bought the meat. The last time I bought this, the first time I bought it was about a month ago. And I ordered the same box that I've gotten here, the same supplies, and I loved it so much that I just had to order it again. So I'm going to unbox this and talk about some of the products. Now, always make sure you're cutting away from yourself. Oh, great. So before I actually open up the box, I just want to say that I always used to buy my meats from the grocery store. And all of that meat nowadays, well, I would say the vast majority, if not almost the entirety of the meats that you buy at your grocery stores, because my dog goes crazy, is from other countries, imported from Australia, New Zealand, South America, and Central American countries. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the meat, but the fact that it is imported, it can be frozen for a longer period of time, it may lose the quality, even though maybe it's grass-fed, maybe it's organic, but it still comes from overseas. So it may have to be refrigerated and frozen for a longer period of time than Good Ranchers. Also, when you purchase Good Ranchers, you're also supporting your farms and communities and farm communities within the United States. So I'm a big proponent of that, supporting our farmers. They are extremely important to all of us, and we need to give them as much support and love as possible. So without further ado, we are going to open up the Climacell. This is a really cool feature that American Ranchers uses that I'm sure other manufacturers use. Maybe, I'm not sure. This is the first time that I have actually ordered my meat offline and had it delivered to my doorstep, which is kind of weird because I've always gone to the grocery store and looked at the meat myself to pick the right cut. But this gives you a couple of options here, and we'll walk through each option as I go through. So we're going to go ahead and open up the Climacell. Now immediately you could feel the cool air, and that is a really good that's a really good sign that the meat has been kept at a very consistent temperature in here. This was delivered earlier this morning to me, but I did not go down there for around 4 or 5 hours because I was working. So it's very cool because it's filled with dry ice. Now, each cut comes in a bag, and you can close it at the top, you can open it and close it, so you don't have to worry about the bag staying open and your meat flying all over the freezer. But each cut comes in its own bag. Very easy to store in your freezer. It's labeled very clearly here. This is the top sirloin steak. And just a couple of facts that I will read out loud to all of you. Obviously it's gluten-free. No preservatives. And this is all grass-fed beef. It's lists the nutritional facts here as well. And yeah, I'll tell you, when I first bit into trying to remember the first cut of steak that I ate when I got my first box, I believe it was New York strip. And I have to say it was probably the tastiest, most juicy, tender steak I have had in a very, very long time. Rather than having to drop hundreds at a restaurant, I can just spend hundreds at home. Next I have here top Angus steak ground beef. Now, just to be clear, there are different boxes that you can order from Good Ranchers. You can order their, this is the cowboy one. This is the cowboy box. And you'll see all of the cuts that it includes. I would suggest you go to the website, just type in Good Ranchers on Google, go to their website, look at the different options that you have available to you. They don't just sell beef. They sell chicken, they sell pork products as well, so you can check them out. I'm not a big fan of chicken. I've actually stopped eating a lot of chicken in my diet. I just find that avian products are not the best. I still eat eggs, obviously, but that's not technically considered chicken. But I've pretty much gotten down to beef as a whole in my diet. It's beef, eggs, and some rice, not enriched rice. So this is chopped Angus steak, ground beef. No added hormones or antibiotics. This I had the other night with my pasta, and it was unbelievable. I actually ate a half a pound of the ground beef. I didn't expect to eat that much. Half a pound one night, and then the next morning, well, technically I fast until noon, but I mixed it in with my eggs, and it was unbelievably good. It's hard to describe how good this stuff is until you try it yourself. I can't do it justice, to be honest with you. But to finish my story, when I took my first bite of that New York strip, as my first time ever trying Good Ranchers meat, I immediately made a pact to myself that I will never buy my meat from a grocery store ever again. Again, no offense to the companies that raise and sell their cattle in other countries. No offense to grocery stores, because all they're trying to do is make a business. I get it. Whatever's got to be done has got to be done. But for me personally, as a consumer, I have the freedom to choose, thankfully. So I choose to get my meat American raised, and I just don't think there's anything like it out there, honestly. I'm sure there are other distributors out there that I'm not aware of that also supply meat grown in America, which is great, but this stuff is just unbelievable. This bone-in ribeye, huge cuts of ribeye. I don't skimp on the ribeye, I can tell you that, but I still finished them because you have to. They're just too good. We've got bone-in ribeye. Again, they're so good. And here, the cream of the crop, the New York strip steak. I cannot explain to you in words how good this is. And I'll talk about what I use for seasoning. And then we, of course, have the patties, the burger patties. American Wagyu with Angus ground beef patties. These are so tender. When you grill them up, there's so much juice packed into each patty that it's hard not to make a complete mess when you're eating these bad boys. But they are just so unbelievably good. And then, of course, the dry ice goes without saying. Ooh, dry ice steam. So all you have to do to dispose this dry ice is just set it outside somewhere, and it will evaporate on its own. I wouldn't suggest like running warm water on it or anything else. Don't stick your finger in the dry ice. Also, don't recommend doing that. So that's the box. And you can then just toss it into your freezer. So, again, we've got Angus steak, ground beef, beef top sirloin, bone-in ribeye. Of course, I want more. New York strip, Wagyu, patties, burgers. Now, I'll quickly finish up by showing you, I will just open up one of these and show you that you can literally just open these up. And each one is airtight sealed so that it keeps it fresh for a very long period of time. I really like the fact that they put them in these freezer bags and made them airtight, vacuum sealed. I truly recommend that for most foods that you're trying to keep fresh for a long time. vacuum seal as much as you can. So this is just a great way to pack your meat. And then I just, every night before I go to bed or right after I finish my meal, I put the next piece in the fridge and give it a long time to thaw out. Then I'll set it out for about, I don't know, half an hour. Once it's completely thawed, before I start cooking, I'll set it out on the counter for about a half an hour to let it drop a little bit further down to room temperature. And then I will put it on my, I have a gourmet, I believe this is just a gourmet, Gourmet, sorry. Gourmet, I guess that's how you say it. Indoor smokeless grill. Maybe I can do a promotion for that next. But that's it. And then you just seal it up. All these bags are sealable. You can keep your meat in these larger bags, or you can just take the meat out in the vacuum seal packages and put them in your freezer. I like to keep the meat in these larger bags because it's just easier to store and stack them in that way. So that's it. Good Ranchers. I recommend it to everybody. If you really enjoy meat products, if you're not a vegetarian and you're not a vegan, I highly recommend that you try Good Ranchers because they have so many different boxes that you can choose from, and everything that I've had so far has been out of this world good. Tonight, my plan is to cook up some of the ground beef patties that I have from my previous box in there. Let me just get them out and show you. They're pretty much completely thawed now, right? And there are 4 patties in each. I thought this was one when I first saw it and opened it up, and I was like, my Lord, how am I going to eat all this in one go? But there are, don't worry, there are 4 patties within each. So just have to be careful of peeling them apart. But it all works. So I hope you all go out and you try Good Ranchers. You stop ordering your meat and buying your meat from meat that is shipped overseas from other countries and imported here. Purchase through Good Ranchers as well because they support farmers and they support those communities that desperately need help now more than ever because of really the war that has been waged against the farmers without their choosing. Go out there and support your farmers any way you can, but doing this is just one way to do it, and you get some enjoyment out of it too, because when you sit down to eat your dinner, you know that you're going to bite into a piece of meat, whether it's chicken, pork, or beef products. It's just going to blow you away, and it's going to tickle your taste buds, and you're going to enjoy your dinners like you never have before. Lastly, all of this, okay, this cost me a little over $300 because I also ordered the ground beef, 2 pounds of ground beef. We've got 2.25 pounds. Actually, I would say that we've got 4.5 pounds of bone-in ribeye. We've got about 2 pounds of New York strip. We've got a little less than 2 pounds of top sirloin steak and 3 pounds of patties. All of that poundage I purchased for around $300, and I believe the shipping was free, and it arrived the next day. I ordered it yesterday in the afternoon, and it arrived this morning. So go out, try Good Ranchers. Leave a comment below if you've had it before, or if you've had it for the first time due to this video, or if you saw their advertising somewhere else. That would be great. Check out Good Ranchers, some really good meat products. And that's all I've got for you today. See you later.